Hello listeners and welcome back, and today's episode is Death and Debt.
Very joyous podcast today.
Key podcast because of a few issues that's been going on with our temperatures in the UK.
Yeah.
I felt it was relevant because we had a few people who had some severe effects to their crop because of the raising temperatures. So I just thought we'd do this little snippet just to help everybody out, to jog everybody's memories, and just give a little couple of tips on an issue.
If you're thinking that we only did a podcast a few weeks ago on summer heat and how to cope with it, that was technical tips. This one's more of a mindset podcast, isn't it? So it's still about heat and the issues that can occur in the summer.
About you as a person, as a grower, and how you can become better.
Yeah, and your approach.
And you becoming better means your plants will reap the benefits.
So listen up, and we hope you enjoy the podcast to come.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back for another episode of NPK Live. This one's a really optimistic and joyous. Just look at the title of the podcast. It makes you alive with life.
Today's title is Death and Debt.
Ooh, interesting podcast. What does it mean? What are we talking about?
Well, today's one is relevant. It's what happens when things go wrong. And things do go wrong. People don't take into account for some constant changes that we keep harping on about.
Yeah.
And the reason why I decided to do this particular podcast, we thought of this on the spur of a moment 2 weeks ago, because we have had a lot of customers who have had a lot of death. And death means debt, i.e. they have lost their whole crop, which has cost them a lot of money. Some people invest a lot of money into their equipment and nutrients and spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking about this subject, I'm not just aiming at people who are uneducated or can't grow or are using the wrong stuff. Maybe sometimes they've took their eye off the ball a second, or
got complacent.
Yeah, got complacent. And one of the people that springs to mind is the reason why I've decided to do this odd title, because he's a good grower. He's got good equipment, and he buys top quality nutrients. However, he overlooked certain circumstances, i.e. the weather. It's a key thing, and that's why I wanted to go on about it, because no matter how many times we talk about this, every day at the shop, we always have another customer that comes back in who has the same problem. And last week, I had about 5 customers who come in and who had death due to our increase in temperature outside. So these people have rooms that run very fine. They have them set spot on, and they're in flower period. They're towards the end of the cycle. They've been away for a weekend, only Friday till Sunday maybe. The room's fine. It's got enough nutrient and water and it's able to access that, and the light is set on its timer and whatnot. However, before they went away, the ambient temperature outside was fairly good. It was 15 degrees, 16 degrees maybe. However, when they've left for the weekend, this weekend's really turned into a glorious, lovely weekend, short and t-shirt on. And the fatal error was they continue to enjoy their weekend with their shorts and t-shirts on, where the initial thing should be to get into the car immediately and drive as fast as you can back to your grow area and adjust your grow room, because all of a sudden, the day before we had 15, 16 degrees, you've come into the Saturday, the sun's giving you 23 degrees and it's only 11 o'clock in the morning. You know it's not the hottest point of the day, and you're on 23 degrees already, so you've got 5, 6, 7 degree increase, and you're not at peak. Oh, lo and behold, it gets to 1 o'clock and we're now on 27 degrees outside, and we're away for the weekend. Nobody home to help adjust any climate. There's no equipment to help adjust the climate, i.e.
thermostatically controlled.
Yes, which we've
dimmer.
done podcasts about and show people about, which you'll basically, you can set temperature and it's a backup fan, and that will kick in to compensate for any additional heat that may build up outside in the outside environment. So we've got an outside temperature of around 27 degrees. We've got maybe 6-8 lights in a room. Now we've got a room running in close to 40 degrees for 2 days. Upon returning home, to walk into a room that looks, from being lovely, bright, lush green to horrible yellow, burnt, distorted, twisted annihilation. Looks like a glimpse out the Sahara Desert, to be honest. Maybe, obviously, there's some salvage in there, but when you've spent a lot of time and a lot of love and a lot of nature, and you really have paid attention to detail, but you've just at that last second forgot to be the weatherman that we harp on about.
And that's the key point. I was going to say that you say to every customer, you're not just a grower, you're also a weatherman. You see that little app with the sun and the little cloud on your iPhone or whatever app it is, whatever phone you use, that should be your most used app. Because you turn it on, it gives you a little week, and it'll tell you the high temperature of the day and the low temperature of the night, and the chance of the humidity ranges, and also the chance of precipitation, rainfall. That will give you unlimited amount of knowledge to know what to do on the inside. If it's cool at night, you're happy. If it's hot at night, though, you need to turn up extraction, dim lights, turn them off, do whatever you need to do to make that environment spot on again. Mother Nature doesn't take holidays.
So then the repercussions of that is, it's cost you money. Growing costs money. The amount of money depends on what equipment and what quality and how much produce and blah 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 blah. However, it costs money. So when you have no produce at the end, you then have either a debt or a deficit.
Yeah.
It's cost you. You've got nothing back. You may have had to lend equipment from a friend, which I've had to do in the past before. You might have had to go to your grow shop and say, "Oh, can you put my name on the board? Come on, please. I've only got 2 weeks left. I'll be back to see you." And, you know, most grow shops, if they're a family, they'll look after you, especially if you're a loyal customer. I know we do at our shop.
Yeah.
But not only that, is you've planned your life around receiving your produce, as every farmer does. So when you have devastation, you still have to live and survive. And when you rely upon your produce, this tiny little error, this error that you can kick yourself in the back for, constantly really becomes devastating.
Yeah.
And can become depressing as well.
Yeah. Imagine you've spent 3 months, you've bought your giant pumpkin seed, and I know recently giant pumpkin seed went for in excess of £1,000 because of the strain and genetics of it, and you buy all the best kit to get this, to bring out the genetic potential of the pumpkin. You're spending hours and hours in the right equipment, and you give it love and nature, and you've spent 2-3 months bringing it out its potential, and you just think, "Oh, I'm tired. I couldn't half do with a little weekend break. Me and the missus, or me and the fella, we're going away for a weekend, and we need some time off." Sometimes it can lead to death, and that giant pumpkin that you've just spent over £1,000 on to get the genetics of the seed is gone. And you go to these giant vegetable conferences and expecting to see pumpkin, and lo and behold, no pumpkin, because you had a 2-day holiday. Yeah. It's that important.
Well, there's another angle to this, the reason why I brought this up as well, because you heard me just talk about the good grower who just took his eye off the prize for a little second. Honest mistake. You know, we've all make mistakes constantly. We all get things wrong from time to time. But then we also have a different style grower, where he started off as an energetic grower, really passionate, really attentive. Yeah. But then they got to that point, that 12-month point in their grow career, where they believe that they are better, nobody is better than them. and they start to get laxy-daisy and be complacent, and then end up spiralling into a downward spiral of death, which then runs them into debt, because all of a sudden they've accelerated themselves to multiple grow rooms and polytunnels and whatnot and expanded, and there's a running cost, there's an outlay of cost on a weekly or monthly or quarterly basis even, but because of an egotistic idea they become laxy-daisy, and that's very common.
And you know what point people get to that? And I love it. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, that point of the more you learn, the less you know. But you get to that pinnacle, don't you?
Yeah.
And you think you know it all.
Yeah.
And you've got nothing left to learn. And then when you get to that point, you think...
Something happens, doesn't it?
I used to measure pH, and I used to measure EC, and I used to feed it every day, but I've been doing great, and I'm the best, mate, so I'm going to do this, do it dead quick, because I know everything. Not really look at me plants, because I'm fucking me. I'm the best grower that there is. I don't need to look at plants. The plant knows that it's me, and it's just going to grow because it's me. It's smashing it. And then 2 days later, you come back, and your pH has fell through the floor. Your water temperatures have gone up through the roof. You haven't spotted the spider mite or the thrip on your plants because
you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, because you wasn't bothered.
Yeah, you just assume that they'll never come anymore because you're that good.
And then, because you're that good, you then go, oh, I can fix that. You fix it dead quick. But you don't go and ask someone's opinion because you know it all, and no one can teach you anything. So you don't ask someone's advice. You never had spider mites before because you've been really good. You've been you've been very attentive to what's been going on. So you've never had them before, but you think, oh, I can get rid of them dead quick and easily. Maybe it's not so easy. You need to go and see people's opinions. You've been through it all, and I've been where you've been, think that they know it all, and then they've took a very quick roller coaster dip down the mountain of knowledge where you find out.
And then what you'll
nothing.
find is you'll get to a point of where you feel like you've lost touch with all of your skill. And then you probably land into a grow shop on all fours, say, begging for help. And then you start back on the proper learning scale.
Yeah, you go back to the books, or you go back to the basics.
Yeah.
And you start again, and you go, I've got my foundation of knowledge. I don't actually know it all. Now I really need to start paying attention. I think some people, maybe people who listen to this who don't, maybe not fire any answers in, or maybe don't want to contradict us because they think we might flip off the handle. Listen, a few people do call in and say, I think that was wrong, or I'll post something on Facebook and they'll say, I'm not so sure about that, or you'll be having conversations and they'll go, I'm not too sure on what you've just said, and they think that because we do a podcast we think we know it all, and hopefully we come across as we say we don't know it all. And if you want to pick us up on something, all it does is it doesn't offend us, it just increases our knowledge, because then we'll go back to the drawing board and look it up and maybe learn something new. It does happen quite often to me. Like something basic like pH, and 6 months ago I might have said something and somebody will pick me up and I'll go, okay, let me go back and let me do a bit more reading on pH, and you find out something that you didn't know and you learn more. It's only a good thing.
Also, as well, once you use a number of products, a lot of people then veer off into another spiral, which I've witnessed, where they want to buy everything.
Oh, yes.
Which at our store, we're the first people to point out to a customer, you know, you don't need to spend this much money. You don't need to buy this wild, crazy, George's Marvellous medicine, potions and stuff like that. And people then can begin to outlay more cost than what they hope to return. And as a grow shop owner, if you're looking to produce a crop of maybe 100 tomatoes and you want to yield whatever, you've got an expected yield and you've worked out the price of what that'll go at wholesale, you don't want to be then using a nutrient that with one bottle would
diminish your profits.
Yeah. So
severely.
That's something else as a grower and as a store owner, that it's something that we would always try and advise you as well. What if you're unsure of what a good regime would be for you, or you do feel that things have been going a bit wrong lately and you was growing really good and you was getting really good results, and all of a sudden you don't know what's happened anymore. Things have changed and but nothing's changed in your brain. Everything seems to be the same, but you're just not happy anymore. That's what we're sort of going on about here.
Yeah.
And if that's you, give us a call or message us, and let's see if we can ignite your spark again. Because, as Steve was saying, what was that chart?
Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that again? Sorry.
So the more you learn, the less you know.
Yeah, and if you look at that on Google and you look at the face spike, yeah, the people who I'm addressing right now, that'll be you. That's you on the face spike. You was doing really well. Now you're not doing so well, and you're really downhearted. You're at the face spike on the Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
What you need to do is phone us or contact us immediately. Once you have a conversation with us, we'll then give you a plan on how you're going to access the rest of the Dunning-Kruger graph, and that will send you off the next 10 years of your life.
And then at the end of the 10 years, you'll be at the bottom.
yeah, that's it. Then you'll realise that this whole thing's a learning for life.
Yeah. I'd say out of about, let's say, there's a figure of 1,000 people, figures in this industry. The people that are at the top of the second peak, probably 10, 20 people out of 1,000 that are at the top of that second peak.
Yeah.
Where I personally believe I'm nowhere near it. I'd like to say I'm still on the way down. Definitely.
Yeah. I thought I was at the top a few times, and then I got there, and then it was like when we climbed the mountains. You get to that point,
and there's
my God, there's another Mount Everest up there. We keep going.
Oh, that's the most soul-destroying thing.
So today's podcast, bit of a strange one, death and debt. Just talking about how to be maybe a bit more cost effective.
Yeah.
How to pay attention to detail, no matter how fine it is, because some of these fine details can have some detrimental effects and can really hinder the outcome of your crop. To not overlook anything that you think, it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's basic, that.
Yeah, and also, one of my key things that I always love to say is become a weatherman or a weather woman or the weather person.
Yeah.
or a weather anything. But just start to study the weather, every single one of you. Humidity, temperature, look at it. These iPhones are amazing. You just scroll it down from the top? Yeah. From the top, and then all the little cloudy things come up with the temperature, and it's perfect. So the thing I want to get out here is because of our instant raises in temperature, I just wanted to get another message out to everybody to pay attention to detail and not forget. And if you are going away, if you're going on any trips, make sure you accommodate for your plants, your grow room, and that's it basically.
Yeah. What I would like for people to get out of this podcast is, if you think that you know it all, or you think you've not got much left to learn, just call us, because you may very well, there's probably some listeners that do know a hell of a lot, but I want you to call us or get in touch with us, and I want to try and find out something that you don't know, and try and just, might be something tiny, and just make you realise that there's quite a bit left to learn. And that's really, to be honest, when you've learnt it all, that's a really sad day, I reckon. Really sad day when you
be done,
know it all. You'd be done, wouldn't you?
The great different job then.
Yeah, the great journey is that we always know that there's something else to come and there's something else to learn. So that's my little input as well.
Well, I think that's it for that one, Stephen.
Yeah, well, last couple of short ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've gone up and down, a couple of long ones, a couple of short ones. So we're going to keep you awake and keep it short. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.